You can take the Germans that really were the most educated nation in the world, most educated nation in the world. And you got them to believe that Jewish people drink the blood of their children. Nonsense, yes?
Right. Yeah.
So so it's really, if you understand that it's only, the problem is that today it's becoming much easier to brainwash people because they really uneducated. They don't understand what they say. Most of the people don't understand the words that coming out of their mouth, and they're just parroting words. They just heard something and they're parroting it.
All right. Mayor Ezra, how you doing, man? You've got a fascinating story, and I wanted to get into that. But first of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. I'm in heaven in Cape Town. So just perfect.
That's awesome, man. So, listen, like I said, you got a fascinating story, and I don't know how many other podcasts you've been on that just want to talk about, your life and your experiences. But that's kind of what I want to get into today. I want to talk about, first of all, you're from Israel, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Israel. I was born in the north of Israel. So from the age of 0, more or less until I left, we had every night, almost every night, missiles, and we had
Oh.
like next door to us, there was a terrorist, a group of terrorists that came and killed the whole family. So I had an interesting experience there.
And so, growing up in Israel, so you had a lot of experiences in your daily life that we would never ever consider here in the United States as quote unquote normal. But that was your everyday experience, just missiles flying overhead, being shot down.
Yeah, they're not being shut down. At that time, there was no Iron Dome. They were just hitting.
Wow.
So, yeah, they were just hitting, and there was not even, right now in Israel, every house by law have this shelter built in every apartment, every
Right.
house, yes? And you've got the Iron Dome, etc. So the chances of to get hurt in Israel is very low. But at that time, it was every night someone will get hurt. Every night, every night, every night. And yeah, like there was it was just normal, normal to the point where you would just expect, somewhere around 1 to 3 a.m., they're going to be about 60, 50, 40 missiles, and it's coming. And it's just part of life. It's like another bug.
So what was it like? So you joined the military. Was conscription a thing back then, or did everybody have to join the military, or did you want to join?
So everyone had to join for 3 years, and everyone want to join. So it's probably the only place in the world that everyone have to join. But like I went to a special unit, so I wanted to join, and I gave extra time, extra years. So you have to go for 3 years if you're a man, and 2 years if you're a lady. But I stayed there almost 6 years because I wanted to contribute. I really wanted to contribute.
That's awesome, man. And so respectable. And I could just imagine having growing up that way in almost that you get used to the rockets flying overhead, and then you feel this sense of pride and you want to stand up and you want to help your country fight back. How old were you when you joined?
18. So I've joined 18, and I went to a special unit. I was a diver. So we started 4,000 people. The course to learn to train for that unit was about 2 years, and we ended up 21. So it's a very elite, very specific elite unit. And yeah, it was very challenging, but extremely rewarding.
I bet I just only imagine what that would must have been like. And so you were in the Navy. You said in your profile here that you were on submarines. Now, were they known as the IDF back then?
So yeah, of course. In Israel, there's no navy and air force, etc. It's all the army.
Okay.
So because
So
it's relatively,
did they call
it's
did they call you guys the IDF back then?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Israeli
Okay.
Defense Force. Yes.
And so what was like you were on submarines. Now I can just I've never been on a submarine myself, but man, was it cramped and like it just all the time constant noise and nerve-wracking and stuff like that?
It is very, very small. So you've got about 20 people, 20 men that live in a very small area. So you don't have your own bed. You have like you share bed with people. So you sleep and another person work, and you sleep and another person work every 4 hours. And it is noisy and smelly and and I wouldn't say that it's frightening because you get used to that. But you know, when you start to dive, you go to, I don't know, 100 meter, you start to hear the submarine squash. You hear, you go to 200 meter, it's really like not no door open. Everything is stuck because the submarine actually contract. So it's yeah, 200 meter is a lot of pressure.
So how long ago was this? It was probably 20, 30 years ago.
It was actually, I'm 62, so it was about 40 years ago.
You don't look 62.
Yes, I'm 62 and 40 years ago.
I'd imagine the technology has gotten way better since then. But so when in talking about your sense of duty and how does it feel currently to see what's going on in Israel right now, knowing that it's been the same way since you were a little boy?
Yeah. So, you know, the Israeli viewpoint uh, when I was growing up, there was this thing that going on about we want peace. Like all the songs, all the like the national songs is about I want peace, we want peace, we want peace, we want peace, we want peace. The Declaration of Independence had to do with we want peace with everyone, we want peace, we want peace. And the majority of the Israelis always, regardless of all the attacks and all the problems, wanted peace. And I think that in October 7, that's changed. It's changed drastically. Like, uh, I think 85, 90% of the Israelis says, okay, that's it. We had enough of you. No more peace, no more understanding. You want to kill us, we'll kill you before.
I
We'll
I
wake
and
up one night.
I totally understand that sentiment though. I mean, for me, October 7th, watching it from over here in the United States, it was devastating for me watching it on the news and knowing Israel's past, knowing everything that's going on currently. I just felt like, okay, this is it. Uh, it's time to fight back. And I don't know, how did you feel seeing everything in the media portrayed that maybe Hamas was the good guys? How did that make you feel?
Uh, I'm looking at that and I know for sure that people don't know. So I'm not upset about it. They don't know. When someone come to you, like I'm not upset about the average German in Nazi Germany because there was a PR machine that convinced them that the Jewish are bad. So if someone really, if the intention is good, but the data is bad, it's okay. My son intention is good, but he doesn't know how to do something, so he breaks it. So I'm not really upset with him because I understand that it's really not him. And the same thing, I'm looking at the world and I know, okay, fine. They really want good. These people that going and chanting from the river to the sea, And I had a lot of interviews with the pro-Palestinians and online and offline, and I just asked them, and not a problem, uh, from which river to which sea? They don't know.
Yeah.
What is the distance from that river to this sea? They don't know. What does it mean? Let's say I agree with you from the river to the sea. What will be the result of that? They don't know that they're actually talking about the extermination of a whole country.
Yeah.
So it is very much like a person that shout at you and you want him to stop shouting at you and you've shouted him back.
Right. And that's been my experience as well. The people that advocate for these things don't really know what they're saying. And and
Understand?
I here in the United States, anti-Semitism has gone through the roof. I don't even it's in mainstream media now, and I don't even how do we fight back against that? Because it's like I can't just I'm a First Amendment or a free speech absolutist. I believe in the free speech and the power of free speech. And I also believe the only way to combat bad ideas is with good ideas. And everybody is allowed to speak their ideas. But how do you challenge someone that doesn't they refuse to change their way of thinking and they're extremely uneducated about things?
So you don't try to change the way of thinking. But what I do, how I look at that, I said, look, you want to, do you want to kill people? And they said, no, we are against it. Okay. Let's say that we do what you're saying, and we say that we want to go from the river to the sea. How many people will die in that case? And they will say, we don't know. Okay, what if I'll tell you that in Israel, there are 8 million people, more or less 2.5 million Arabs, and about 6.5 million Jews. They say, okay. And I said, so you want all of those people to be moved from their country. So you want to basically transfer all those people to where? I'm willing for everyone to live, not a problem. I'm willing to live. Tell me to where.
Right.
And they and if you get them to observe, when a person operate on fake realities, a fake reality is a piece of information that you're 100% sure is correct, but it doesn't bring you the expected result. So what you do, you don't try to convince them because it will not work, but you ask them question, you get them to observe because they're chanting or they're parroting what they're parroting because they never actually observed. They didn't really
Right.
went down to the details. So, for example, I had this gay guy that I was talking to in Cape Town. I met him in a restaurant, not in a coffee shop, a very nice coffee shop, and I sat next to him, and he was with this kafia, and I told him, "Wow, you're wearing a kafia?" He said, "Yes, I'm pro-Palestine," and I said, "I think that you're gay," and he told me, "Yes, of course," and I said, "So do you understand what the Hamas or what they think about what the Palestinian thinks about gays?" And he said, "They love us," and I said, "Okay, fine, not a problem." Let me show you a few things. Let me explain to you what's going on. And he couldn't believe that this is really what's happening. So I'm not trying to convince him. I'm not telling him that he's wrong. It is, it's like in a sales process. When you're in a sale process, let's say you go to a client and you tell him the price. And you tell him it costs $100, and he say, well, it's very expensive. And you say, you're right, it's expensive. The first thing is agree with him. Now, once you agree with him, you go and you tell him, uh, you told me you told me that you want this result. You told me that you want to get all the people from the river to the sea. Yes. Okay, so I build agreement with him. Now, if this thing will happen, what will happen? And you slowly turn his viewpoint around.
So then
But
they
you
start
don't say, no,
challenging their own way of thinking.
yes, because for someone to do something stupid or damaging, Prerequisite for that is that they fail to observe what actually happened. They have fake data, they have broken data that they're 100% sure it's correct. So if you really understand that they're good people, it's not that they're bad people that want the anti-Semitism and they want the Jewish to be dead. No, no. It's just they're really, really, really good people, but uneducated.
Right.
So when a
Right.
person is uneducated on a specific subject, it doesn't make him bad. It may be maybe make him uninformed, maybe make him do mistakes, all kind of thing. But he's not a bad person. So because he's
Right.
not a bad person, you have something to work with. And will you find from time to time just someone that is bad? Yes, but it's a neglectable percentage. 99% of those people really want to do good.
Right.
They want to do good. They really believe that this is correct. They don't actually know what's actually going on. They don't understand the conflict. They just come into a conflict that's going for 70 years and they saw 5 videos on Instagram, on YouTube, and now they become an expert.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
fine. You cannot really be upset with them. You understand? It's like,
Right.
okay,
And that's just, so that's what that's where I'm at. A lot of the times I can't articulate as well on certain points without getting upset and thinking, well, how are these people so blind to these facts here? Um, and anti-Semitism has gotten so bad. Like I said, it's mainstream here in the United States, and I don't understand how that happens. And we had mentioned like propaganda and stuff like that. Do you think that the majority of this is actually a big propaganda push from places, hostile places?
yeah, 100%. Like it's like what is public relation? Public relation is the social technology of controlling human emotion and reaction. So there is nothing more deadly than public relationship. Why? Because relationship is a technology that designed to control the mind of people. And if you control the mind, you can do anything. You can take the Germans that really were the most educated nation in the world, most educated nation in the world. And you got them to believe that Jewish people drink the blood of their children. Nonsense, yes?
Right. Yeah.
So so it's really, if you understand that it's only, the problem is that today it's becoming much easier to brainwash people because they really uneducated. They don't understand what they say. Most of the people don't understand the words that coming out of their mouth, and they're just parroting words. They just heard something and they're parroting it. They don't actually understand. Who can understand a conflict of 70 years, even if they study for a full year full time? You cannot.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Even the people that are in there, even in the people that are in there for 70 years, don't understand it. So you want to come as an exterior person, and in 3.5 minutes, 5 videos, ah, it's 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 childish.
Yeah, I've been diving deep since October 7th, myself, and I've just barely scratched the surface,
Yeah.
and I've been studying World War II pretty much my whole life, Germany and Nazis and the Jews and all that stuff. I had a fascination with it when I was younger. It started in the eighth grade. Once I started being educated about what the treatment of Jews was like prior to World War II, and then how it progressively got worse and worse and worse till we end up with the concentration camps and stuff like that. And it this wasn't that long ago, Mayor. This wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. It was just 70, 80 years ago. And it feels like to me we're right back in the same place. I wasn't alive back then, of course, but all the media that I have watched in my entire life, it feels like we're right back in that same place, and it scares the shit out of me. It really does, and it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings because I've I've come to understand the difference between right and wrong and good and evil with these stories of what happened to these men and women in Germany and Poland, and it hurts to see all across America people talking about things that haven't been considered since the 30s, and they're just general stereotypes from back then, like the Jews control all the banks and Hollywood and the money, and I'm like, you're in the United States. There's nothing preventing, literally nothing preventing you from doing the same thing. You
Yeah.
can own a bank. You can, as a citizen of the United States, as long as I have the capital, I can open up a bank. Like, what's
Yeah.
preventing them?
Even
And
without capital.
right, right. And once you start challenging, I have come across anti-Semitism in my own personal life, and with people I do feel comfortable with challenging, and they're like, "Oh, you know, you're right." And one of the things that I had heard was, um, "Oh, I can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery." And so my response to that, why do you want to? Why do you want to be buried in a Jewish cemetery? Like, is that something, like, I'm sure that you could get, ask someone, you know, why we're not allowed to. But the fact
No, I
is,
think
like,
that this person forgot what he says about Jewish people. Pay enough money and you will be able to.
exactly, exactly.
We're talking about Jewish people. Come on.
But
You're
I
just
just,
probably not rich enough. It's not a problem.
right, right. But in my everyday life, I've seen the rise of anti-Semitism here lately, and it really, really bothers me. And it's gotten to a point where even everyday people can't stand up and say it kind of reminds me of the stories I heard about Germany, that the average everyday people cannot stand up,
Yeah.
and speak their feelings out of fear of how they'll be treated. And I'm pro-Israel, you know, I'm pro-Jewish people, I'm pro everybody really, but I understand that there's a certain, we just talked about it in the middle, you know, in the beginning part of our conversation about rockets flying overhead every day, and it's still like that. It is
Never
still
mind
like
rocket
that.
flying overhead. That was not the main problem. The main problem is that every week or 2 weeks for I don't know how many years, terrorist groups will come from Lebanon, go into a house and into apartment and demand some release of terrorists or something, demand something, and eventually will kill the family. Next to me, like my building was here, we had 3 stories building. I was in the second floor. Next door to me, next door, not kilometers away, next door, the neighbors got killed by terrorists. Next door. A child of, I was maybe 5 years old, and I heard when they came in, and then the police and army came and took us out, and I heard the shouting and then the shooting, and then those guys die. They disappear. They kill them
Wow.
all. The family just cold blood, like they've done in October 7. But and the miracle was that despite all of that, despite that for years you had suicide bombers, despite that for years you have people, men, women, go and just stab someone, some citizen. Imagine if in the US you had a day that they killed 1,200 people in Israel. Yes, in the 7 October. I think it's the equivalent of, like, Israel is about 8 million people, and the US is about 300 million,
Yeah,
something like
it would have been
320.
like equivalent to 9/11.
No more.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah,
No, in
I mean,
9/11, about 3,000 people got killed,
right.
and you had two wars with the 2 countries, and billions of dollars, and hundreds of people, thousands of people die. It will be equivalent of killing 30,000 people and kidnapping 10,000 people, citizens. Imagine what will happen to Mexico if Mexico will invade the US, kill 30,000 people in one morning, and kidnap 10,000.
Well, we wouldn't have to like it would be the United States part two. Like there would be no Mexico left.
That's correct.
And
So there
so
will be
that's
no Mexico.
I'm
Will
also
anyone,
confused.
anyone will come and say it's the improportional force?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't
Yeah,
think so. And that's
exactly.
I want to. That's another thing that's it's very very curious. Israel showed a great amount of restraint after
Of course.
October, and they're still showing a
Yeah.
great amount of restraint.
Mhm.
Nobody
Yeah,
gives them credit for that, right?
of course.
And it just it's like if it would have happened to us and we had there would the hostages they would have no choice but to give the hostages back. You
For
know,
two
we
years,
wouldn't negotiate
2 years
with
they held
them.
hostages. Like for 2 years they held hostages.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
we have
crazy.
the saying here, no man left behind. No man left behind. And we would stick to that doctrine until we got all those people back.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what
Mhm.
we would do. And I
Mhm.
watched after October 7th and they stole people. Hamas stole people. And it's like, and then I'm hearing about all these deals and let's talk peace. And I'm like, not until they give those people back. You don't negotiate with terrorists
Yeah.
because then at that point the terrorists win
Yeah.
and they will do this again if you negotiate with them with the and they what did they learn from that? They learn that what they did worked.
Yeah, these two parts. First of all, I think that the major mistake of Israel is that if I was the prime minister, what I will say day one is like that. Okay, you hit us. From now on, it goes like that. Number one, we don't want the hostages back. You do with them whatever you want. If you want to give them, wonderful. However, every week that pass that you don't give us the hostages back, for every one hostage, we kill 10. Simple. If one of the hostages die, we kill 1,000. And every week we take 1 more kilometer of your area. We're not going into big war and nothing. We're just going slowly, slowly taking 1 more kilometer and 1 more kilometer and 1 more kilometer and 1 more kilometer. And we're telling you, just leave. If you don't want to leave, it's your problem. And all of this area for 1 square kilometer, we continuously, the whole strip of 1 kilometer, we just bombing nonstop for a whole week, bombing, bombing, bombing from the air. No tank, no one get hurt, nothing. We just bombing and bombing and bombing and bombing and bombing and bombing and bombing. And then we go in once for 1 week. We did it. We go in after nothing left, and another week, and we're not negotiating with the terrorists. We don't. You don't want to give us the hostages, not a problem. But for every one hostage, we kill 10 every week. Every week. How? Don't worry, we'll find how to kill them. That's not a problem. Just 10. And if a hostage die, you have 1,000 from your side that will die. We'll execute 1,000. You execute, we execute, not a problem.
Wouldn't
And
take them
then
very
let's see
long.
how long it will take. Let's do simple, not big war, complication, going in, getting soldiers dying. No, not a problem. Slowly, we have time. You've done what you've done. Not a problem. This is like the people that you kidnapped is barbaric, but not a problem. You want to be barbaric? Let's be barbaric. Not a problem.
I like
Wonderful.
that.
That's it. End of cycle. Like nothing, not a big cycle. Let's see for how long you can. Why? In order for a group, in order for a crime to be committed in a group, the group must agree the crime is okay. Otherwise, the group will stop it. If the group agrees that murders are okay, like in some areas of the favela in Brazil, so okay, so it's happening all the time because the group agree with that. But in Washington maybe or in New York, it's not agreed upon. And if a murder happen, everyone is trying to catch the murderer, and the group say no. So if there is kidnappers and if there is suicide bombers, it's mean the group agree, which means the group is responsible. So everyone is involved.
Yes,
It's not, there is no uninvolved. Everyone is involved because you agree to that. Otherwise, come forward, tell me I'm not involved, I surrender. Not a problem. Anyone that wants to surrender, pick up a white flag, we take you in. Not a problem. We take you in, we'll feed you, we'll everything, we'll give you a place to live. Not a problem. Anyone that wants to surrender. But otherwise, you are part of them. And we are going to go and simply systematically kill you until you decide that it's enough. That's all.
I
Simple.
agree. I agree. And the problem, the problem with doing that right now is that media, like everything is so open. And
It's not a problem. Not a problem. Why are they liking us? No, no. They hate us in any case. They
that's a good
already,
point.
in any case, they say that we commit genocide. We are so stupid to commit genocide that every year they have more people. If Israel wanted to kill all the people in Gaza, they just need to go and bomb the civilians, but they don't do that. So in any case, the media don't like us. Even if we will be the Pope, they will not like us because we are
Right.
Jewish. If the Pope was Jewish, yes, which he is, but never mind. but but in any case, they don't like us. So so cry. It's fine.
I agree.
Cry.
I agree. I agree. That's a
The
very good point.
major mistake is to want something from them. I don't want anything from you. 1,200 people got kidnapped. Wonderful. That's the cost of war. That's the cost of war. Not a problem. We don't want them back. I mean, of course, we want them back, but we're not going to ask them. You will want to give them back.
Right.
Why?
Right.
First of all, we're going to hunt you forever. Forever. We're going to hunt you. We've done it before, we'll do it again. So everyone is like you're going to die. So it's just a matter of time. And we're going to hunt you, number one. And number two, we're going to take every week 1 more kilometer. That's it. Very simple. It doesn't
Th-
take many weeks to finish Gaza because it's just 40 weeks, 40 kilometers.
Another
So,
problem I see with making like deals and truces and stuff like that is in the past, anytime that there's ever been any peace agreements, the other side has not stuck to it. They've never stuck to it.
yeah, the only way to get peace is through force.
I agree with
Because it
that.
started if it's already if it's already you come and you fight with me, especially once I've agreed and Israel went out one-sided out of Gaza. So Israel just done everything in its power to be fine or to be nice to them. But right now it's very simple. It's too late because they negotiated, but I would not negotiate the first deal, not the second deal, not any deal. I'm not negotiating. I want surrender, and I'm not talking about anything else. Once you decide to pick up white flag, wonderful. We'll take care of you. Before that, you are animals that we're going to kill. Next.
Here's an interesting
Simple.
question. Do you think this would still be happening? Do you think October 7th would have happened if the United States was still in Afghanistan?
Yeah, it would happen in any case. And it happened because so first of all, the major question, how did it happen? Yes. Um, w- uh, I know because I know Israel and I know how it operates. When you have a small dog or a mice that try to go through this fence, there's an alert and immediately a helicopter in the air and the soldiers and tanks and da da da. And the fact that most of it did not work, nothing worked. It's not by mistake. This was this is another side why it happened. It happened because Israel wanted to happen. I believe 100% that Israel and the Hamas worked together to create this attack, but the attack was just a little bit too successful.
That's
So
interesting.
they, yeah, because how can it be? Everything we have there is a protection that really nothing could go through. And for 8 hours, the Air Force did not shoot one. Come on, the best Air Force in the world. Now, Israel is not big that it takes hours to fly from one place to another. To
Right.
fly from Hatzerim to Gaza, it's 12 minutes. It's like nothing. It's like nothing. It's everything is closed. Everything is. So the reason it didn't happen is because a combination of someone planned it and wanted to happen, uh, and the plan was not only in that day, but for years, Israel paid money to Hamas to build the
Right.
tunnels. Israel knew that they're building the tunnels. Israel knew that weapon comes in. Israel knew that it happens. So the irresponsibility from the side of Israel is huge. It
Was it just
allows,
in the name of peace?
yeah, in the name of peace, yes, in the name of peace, and maybe also some other situations, some other people made a lot of money out of it because people made money out of paying money to the Hamas. So I think it's number one, greed, first of all, and second, an unwillingness to confront the problem face on. So when something happens, you need to kill it when it's small.
Yeah.
Don't wait for years. And Israel did not do it, and that's the price. And add to that that the viewpoint of the Israelis up to 7/11 was no, we want peace. We whatever they do, we want peace. So they exploded themselves in a discotheque, killing children. Oh, okay, it's not good. It's not good. We will do an operation for 3 days. We will fight for 5 days, and but we want peace. We don't want anyone to kill more soldiers. We don't want bad things. So Israel really, really, really wanted peace, and the outside world don't understand how almost brainwashed the average Israeli was on peace. Peace is the most important thing in the universe. We want peace. We want peace. We want peace. That's all we wanted. And the Palestinians and Hamas um, didn't realize that this is the weak point of Israel, and they've done what they've done. But they really they made a big mistake because now the majority of Israelis, at least 80%. No, 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 no. We're not talking peace. We're talking about we want a massive protection area. It's never happening again. We from now on, anyone that gets closer to the fence get shot. From now on, we want
Yeah.
we are not negotiating with you. We're not giving you money. We don't care if you succeed or not. We don't want you in the country. We don't want to give you work. We don't want anything to do with you. They need to do major amends in order to gain
Absolutely.
the trust of the Israelis.
Absolutely.
And
And
and it
the
was
fence,
because
the fence on the other side, just on the other side of Gaza, keep separating Gaza from other countries is even larger than it is on the Israeli side.
yeah,
I find that very
it's not
telling.
other, yeah, it's not other countries. It's Egypt, but the
Egypt, yeah,
main thing is the Palestinian used to be part of the of Egypt on the one hand, and on the other hand, part of Jordan. Yes, in the West Bank. And they were kicked out of Jordan because they tried to. I don't know if you remember Black September, where Yasser Arafat tried to
yeah,
overturn the king. So they kicked out of Jordan because they've done the same thing. They attack the place where they lived in. So they kicked out of there. Uh, Egypt doesn't want them. What? Because in 73 we had the or 67 we had the war. We took Gaza, and
right,
in the peace accord with Egypt say yes, we want everything. We want Sinai, we want everything, but we don't want Gaza. And the Palestinian you keep for yourself. It's no one wants them because they're uneducated and they're brainwashed just to
yeah,
hate. They're
yeah,
brainwashed to hate. Why Israel on the same land created the heaven, uh, technology, success, educated society, powerful economy, etc. We build up and they build down. Yes, Why? Because uh, Israel really made the point of we want peace, and in peace you need to be effective in pro-survival action, and in war you need to be effective in counter-survival action. And they knew only about war. They didn't actually ever wanted peace. They never wanted peace.
Yeah, I suspect that as well. And I was watching national media. I think it was News Nation here in the United States. I was watching a snippet on Gaza, and they had a couple starving kids that the media was paying attention to. And then the reporter comes back on and asks, it was a former United States intelligence officer that they were asking, but they were asking, why are we letting, these starving kids and this, that, and the other thing? And the guy's response, I'll never forget this. The guy's response is, he said, "Okay, you see the starving kids?" And he says, "Yes." And he says, "Pull that image back up. Do you see anybody else starving or just those kids?" And he was right. They showed the clip, and it showed four or five starving children, but everybody else around them, the adults, looked very well fed. And I'll never forget that, because it's like, okay, they brought these cameras in to get the sympathy and all this, but are they intentionally starving their children to further their cause? And these are their own children, and they hand these children
What
guns and sent them into the fight. It's ridiculous. We don't understand that here in the West, and they use that to their advantage.
Yeah. What they do is they take sick children and they bring them in. It's not that they're starving their own children. They bring sick children and they put them into those clips. And even if it was true, let's say that they're starving, okay? Let's say that they're starving. Um, what is worse? To have 5 kids or 50 or 1,000 starving, or to come and have a suicide bombing every day in a restaurant. What is worse, to shoot on Israel in 1 year more than 10,000 missiles? Yes, Israel have Iron Dome. So in order to have the sympathy of the world, what Israel should do is turn off Iron Dome and get hurt. So then it will be okay. No, the intention is to kill innocent people. The intention of Israel is not to kill innocent people. And that was the intention of the Palestinian all the time, to kill innocent people. And this is what escaped the view of the world. It's so obvious that it's like people saw the train going to Auschwitz and they saw what's happening, and they saw the yellow star and they saw all of it, and they saw that people disappear, but they didn't think that something bad happened to them. No, it's very, very obvious. If someone shooting on your citizen, if someone will shoot for years, every day, every few days, thousands of missiles on New York, even if the US have Iron Dome, do you think that the US will tolerate it? Show me another country that tolerate it.
You're right.
They will
You're
go and wipe
absolutely
up the
right.
place.
Well, and
That's
there's
nonsense. It's just so stupid. It's
I just Googled it. There's like 2.2 million people in Gaza. We've sent billions of dollars in aid to Gaza directly. And I think they even had put up a temporary port there, and it got blown up the first day, and
yeah.
sent billions of dollars in aid for
The point is very
2.2
simple.
million people.
There's a lot of data. The point is very simple. The Palestinian elected the Hamas. The Hamas covenant says we are established in order to kill the Jews. That's it. We want to kill the Jews. We want to wipe the Jewish country, the Israel, from the map. We want to kill all the Jewish people. That's the covenant of the Hamas. All the details, who shoot who is starving, who is not starving, it's almost irrelevant if you're intelligent. because the intention is written. They say
Yeah,
this is what
it is
the
irrelevant for me. It is
yeah,
irrelevant for me. I'm just trying to have a
irrelevant
conversation here.
because
Yeah.
there's a war and you don't and number one it's a war and war is ugly and dirty and bad. Number two, there's many children that dying all over the world and no one make a fuss. Assad killed Assad killed 1 million people of his own,
Uh,
more or less 300,000
well,
children that he killed of his own. No one
China
saved from the river to the sea.
China currently does
I
it with the
know.
Uyghur Muslims.
Many places. Afghanistan, what's happening right now in Afghanistan. But never
Yeah.
mind. The point is like that. War is dirty. And the question is what the intention? The intention is to kill the Jewish people. And the Jewish people, by their stupidity, wanted peace for a long time. And now the Jewish people, Israelis, don't want peace. Israeli want those bastards in the cage and they need to make amends to fix what they've done. And then we can talk about peace. What does it mean to make amends? You need to change your covenants. You need to change the way that you educate your children. You need to stop preparing for war. And you need to just be someone that declare, I want peace. All Israel ask, declare that you want peace, and we will help you to have peace. And if you want peace, you don't need an army because
Right.
who is against you? Egypt. Egypt is also Arab, so it's not. And Israel, we will declare, we will give you all the security that you need. And and the U.S. also said we will give you the security, but they don't want peace. If they wanted peace, the problem
They would
is
have
big,
taken
but it's
any one of
simple.
those deals. If they
Yeah,
really wanted peace, yeah, I agree.
the problem is big, but actually the solution is very simple. Declare that you want peace. That's all. Declare that you want peace and start to educate your people towards peace. And in no time, there will be peace.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
simple. All the rest, I killed the children, he killed that. And. So if Israel, let's say that Israel starved 1,000 children, it's bad, okay? But is it okay to send 10,000 missiles per year? Is it okay to explode the I don't know 100 restaurants with the
Right.
3,000 people that die or got injured in per year, not once per year? So what's it's we're not doing here an accounting exercise of who killed more. The point is very simple. What is your intention? Do you want peace? Or do you want to kill the Jewish people? The Jewish people for a long time say, we want peace. We're not going to have peace with you again before you declare. We don't want peace before you. Now you need to say, I want peace. And when you say, I want peace, welcome. And the people that chanting, oh, it's an apartheid, they don't know what the word apartheid is. I'm in
Yeah.
South Africa. I know what apartheid means. They don't know really what's happening. Yes, they really don't know. So you cannot be so much upset with the Western people that chanting whatever. They just parrot. I mean, you cannot be upset with your parrot. Yes, he's just a parrot. He's saying words without understanding. So they just parrot. And but with the Palestinians, yes, you can be upset because they need to decide if they want more destruction or they want peace.
Right. Right. And so for me, it is very black and white. Since the very beginning, it was always very black and white, good versus evil kind of thing for me. But speaking with my audience and some of the people I speak to, it's not always black and white for them, and they use the word nuance a lot. And they talk about, oh, there's it's so nuanced, and I was like, no, Hamas stole people and they need to give them back. It's pretty plain and clear to me. But shifting gears here, when you when you left the military in Israel, how old were you when you left Israel and started to begin traveling?
I think I was, let me do a calculation, 18, 24.
24. So right, pretty much right after you got out.
Yeah, immediately after that, I went to the Far East. I was traveling for a year in the Far East. and then I started doing business.
So where'd you go for like where did you go in the Far East? Did
Oh,
you were you backpacking or
yeah, I was backpacking. I went to Thailand, Nepal, Japan, Philippines. I climbed the Himalaya. I've done all kind of crazy things, and then just living $6 per day. Like very, very low cost. Uh, and then I went to South Africa. Someone needed a programmer in South Africa. So I came to South Africa and I opened the company, started to write programs. And then I saw that writing program is not so smart. So I wrote program that write programs and I sold it after a year. And then that was, I think I was about 37, 8, something like that. And then I came back I went away to the Far East, came back and started another business and sold it for 100 million US dollars.
wow, that's a lot
Yeah.
of money, man. That is a lot and that's
That time it
awesome.
was, at that time it was like today, $2 billion, something like that, 1.5, $1.6 billion.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And so that's what I said in the beginning of our conversation. You've got a fascinating story. What was living off $6 a day in I would imagine it wouldn't be too difficult, right? But like, did you get your basic necessities like food every day,
Yeah.
water,
Food, food,
and did
water, and a place to sleep, like just a bunk somewhere.
and so
So
pretty
I didn't
much
mind.
roughing it?
Yeah, like just like we were like I was climbing the Himalaya for about a month and a half. So we were sleeping just in a tent or going from one place to another, from one village to another. And then in the Thailand, it was some guest house or places that have dormitories. And you eat in the street. You just buy something in the street. They have a lot of things that really, really cheap. And then I went to Japan. It's extremely important, but in Japan, I was selling pictures in the street. So I was making money in Japan. To have money to fly to South Africa, I went to Japan to make some money.
That's
And,
awesome.
yes.
That is amazing. I couldn't even it sounds like so much fun though. I think I could do something like that, but I have four kids. Do you have any kids?
Yes. Three kids.
That's awesome. So did you take any of your kids on your adventures or
No, no, it was way before I got married or way before I got kids. Yes.
so how old were you when you had your first kid?
Um, I think I was, let's see, 31 or something like that.
That's
Yes.
pretty so I was actually like 17 when my first was born.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so I was a kid raising kids, and
Oh,
I've not
wow.
I've not made any riches yet, but I'm well on my way. I I've got that business mind, but now that I'm in my 40s, I've kind of shifted the way I kind of think about things. In I maybe it's like a midlife crisis, but I think a lot about like legacy, and I think a lot about like what am I going to leave behind for my children? And I think the biggest thing I could leave behind is teaching them lessons that I've learned along the way. Like I grew up really poor, and so a lot of the things I learned when I was a kid are kind of coming back in fashion now. We make our own bread here at home.
Uh,
We make everything from scratch. So I think that's my legacy to my kids would be teaching them how to survive and how one would live off $6 a day. And I bet I could do it even in the United States economy. It
yeah.
sounds so fascinating that like reading your um on your website and on your profile here on Podmatch, it's like all these things that you've done, and you have a really great attitude towards life, and I love that. I've watched some podcasts that you've been on previously, and you are unbelievably optimistic. Where does that come from?
Um, I think the it's not, I don't think that I'm optimist. I think that I just know that I can make things go right. I know that I'm able. I know that I have good judgment, so I can make things go right. So if you know, if you have $1 million in the bank, you are not optimistic about money. You just know that you have the money.
Yeah,
So you don't need to be
right.
optimistic. Optimistic is someone that have no money in the bank and hope that he will manage. No, I have the ability. I know I'm powerful. I know that I can make things go right. I know that I understand. I know that there is no barriers that I cannot overcome. So
Do
nothing
you
is a
think that
problem.
do you think have do you think like somebody like me adopting that mindset might help me achieve the things that I want to achieve?
I don't think I know because I've done it with so many people that started to study with us or learn from me. And, I've been doing business for many, many years. And after a few years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I don't remember when, someone asked me to, all throughout the time, people ask me, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And I was teaching people and helping them to become successful. And one day someone came to me and said, look, you have to come and lecture to a bigger audience. And I said, no, I'm a businessman. I don't have time for that. And he said, no, you have to, you have to, you have to. And I said, okay, fine. So I went and I gave this keynote speaking speech in CEO space, which became really big. Everyone loved it. Hundreds of people all of a sudden wanted me to teach them, and I had like, whoa, I don't have time for you guys. I'm a businessman. I have businesses all over the world. I was just giving a speech and they really wanted. So I put together a company that teaches people how to become successful. And this is what Guaranteed Prosperity, one of my companies, doing. This is my hobby. I put into it 10, 15% of my time. Um, and yes, anyone can learn if you are actually willing to fall in love, not with what you want to achieve, but with what you want to do. If you're
Right.
willing, fall in love with what you need to do in order to achieve what you want to achieve, you will make it. Most of the people fall in love with the end result. They love money, so they don't do anything. You need to fall in love with the hard work, to work with
Yes.
the effort. If you fall in love with that, if you're willing to do that, you'll see that the result will come. It's not a problem. You just need to
Right.
learn a few things, and it's actually simple. It's easy. What's difficult, in my opinion, is to be poor, to not have money, to not be successful. That's difficult.
Yes.
It was difficult to live on $6. It's not difficult to live like I live today on $600,000 per month. So it's a big difference. Yes.
I talk about that all the time, and I do have sort of a similar mindset. I think about it's not the destination, it's the journey that's important. And that's kind of how I live my life. I know I'm going to get to where I need to get. It's just the journey and how much fun that I have along the way is what I'll remember when I get to where I'm going. And I tell people all the time, there's a saying, it's not the mountain, it's the climb, and I feel that. I feel that every day in my life. So
Yeah.
when you talk
It's
about
actually not It's not exactly accurate that it's not the mountain at the climb, because if you go to climb without having the knowledge on how to climb, you'll be a
right,
statistic.
right, and
So it's
that's where I was going to
actually,
go to next. My biggest hurdle when I started this podcast and when I started some of my other business things, my biggest hurdle was finding information. It was like the information was locked up and I couldn't get to it. I'd visit libraries and it seemed like yeah, I could get like generic information and I could get help in some different way, but it never seemed to be exactly what I was looking for. Is that what guaranteed prosperity is? Is basically like a place where you can gather resources and education?
yeah, what we do is we say we bring results. You don't know which information you're looking for, because if you knew, you would already find it and you will apply it. What you
Right.
think that you need is 99% not what you need because you don't know. Yes. If
That's
I go to an
that's true.
Aborigine, he will not tell you that he needs to learn the structure of the atom. He will tell you that he needs more mud to build a channel. So
Right.
he doesn't know what he needs. You understand? So we bring results. What you know, aboriginally, me, you, everyone knows they want results. I bring results. How I do that, it's my problem. You just need to come and do what I tell you to do for a short time. I will bring the results, this, provided that you do. And if you didn't do it, I'll pay you. You don't pay me. So if you
That's
don't bring
awesome.
the result, I give you money back plus extra. Not a
So it's
problem.
a
Why? Because I know that I'll
guaranteed
bring the result. Yes,
guaranteed prosperity.
100%. And at the beginning, like you need to do first with art. I don't. Generally, I'm not. It sounds rough, but I don't care what the student think because he doesn't know.
Right.
Like a surgeon don't care if the patient think that he should cut like this or like that because he doesn't know. The patient doesn't know. Let me do my job. I'll fix it. How I fix it? Magic. Who cares? Later on, I will explain to you.
That's man, I love your attitude towards that too. I love every bit of that. You're right. When somebody asks me what time it is, I don't tell them how to build the clock. I tell them what time it is. And that's exactly what you're saying is like, hey,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how we get there, just do what I tell you to do and you'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If
where can
otherwise you
people
don't need
find
me.
you?
If you know what to do, you don't need me.
That's right.
Why
That's
you
right.
come to me?
So where can people find you?
So
It's just the website,
the website is
gprosperity.com.
yeah, gprosperity.com and Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. It's Meirezra Official, Meir Ezra Official. There's ton of material. And like every day I put something, a lot, not something. And yeah, just follow me there. And the nice thing is, any person that is on my friend list, if you write to me, you get a personal answer from me. It's not one of my assistants that answer. I answer, and I always answer. There is not one person in the world that can say that he wrote to me and I ignored him. Within 24 hours, you'll get an answer.
That's awesome. I appreciate that so much, Mayor. I can't even tell you how many messages I send out a week and don't get any responses back. And I think the big thing is like people feel pressured or whatever, and they put all that pressure on themselves. But that's really awesome that you respond personally to every message, and it's that means a lot to so many people. It means a lot to me. I know that. Mayor, let me. This has been a great conversation. I've had a lot of fun and talking about the
Me too. Yeah.
politics and current situation going on in Israel. And I want to invite you back. I'm not sure whether it be a couple months or whatever, but maybe after the first of the
But,
year, we'll get together again and we'll talk about.
yeah.
I just watched a movie called it was called Nuremberg with Russell Crowe. It just released earlier this week. We went and saw it last night, and it's very fresh in my mind. And it talks. I think the main point of the movie was how normal people can be pulled into feeling and doing horrible things. And I've I'm so emotional about these things because I see so many patterns repeating now that have happened in the past. I don't want to see those things again. I don't want to see whether it be, you know, a big war or a genocide, a real genocide. I don't want to see any of that stuff, man. I do want peace, but I agree with your philosophy. Like peace through strength is how this needs to be achieved.
Yeah.
It's not peace by pacification. We should not do that.
No. Yeah. 100%. I'm with you. 100%.
Awesome. Mayor, hang out with me for just a
Thank
second.
you.
We'll let these guys
Of
go.
course.
Hey, thanks for sticking along. I hope you've listened all the way to the end. If you have, like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.